Captain Kodae-ho stood on the bridge of the Silent Dawn, watching the blue marble of Earth turn slowly below. His ship had been hidden behind the moon for 3,000 years, watching and waiting. Today, that wait would end. Captain, we're picking up multiple ships approaching the system, reported Lieutenant Park Min-seo from her station. They're big. Really big. Ko nodded. He had been expecting this day since he was a child. His grandfather had told him stories, and his grandfather's grandfather before that. For 100 generations, his family had watched over Earth, waiting for the galaxy to find them. The approaching ships belonged to the Galactic Federation. Ko knew all about them. His people had been watching their every move across the stars for thousands of years. The Federation thought they ruled the galaxy. They thought they were the most advanced civilization ever to exist. They had no idea how wrong they were. On Earth below, President Yoon Hae-jin was preparing for first contact. She stood in the United Nations building in New York, looking up at the sky. She knew what was coming. Every leader on Earth knew. They had been preparing for this moment for generations. The Federation fleet was impressive. 50 massive ships, each one the size of a city. They moved with the confidence of a species that had never met their equals. Admiral Veltar Sektoth commanded the fleet from his flagship. He was a tall reptilian creature with golden scales and cold yellow eyes. To him, this was routine. Another primitive world to add to the Federation. "Begin scanning protocols," Admiral Sektoth ordered. "I want to know everything about this species." His science officer, a crystalline being named Neth Prime 7, began the scans. The readings were confusing. The planet showed signs of a space-faring civilization, but barely. They had satellites and space stations, but nothing impressive. Their technology seemed hundreds of years behind Federation standards. "Curious," Neth Prime 7 said in its musical voice. "They have achieved faster-than-light communication, but their ships are primitive. They appear to be in the early stages of space development." Admiral Sektoth smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Perfect. Another species ready to join the Federation as junior members. Begin standard first contact procedures." On the Silent Dawn, Ko watched the Federation ships position themselves around Earth. He activated an ancient communication system that had been silent for millennia. Across the galaxy, on dozens of hidden worlds, other ships just like his received the signal. The message was simple. The time has come. The first contact meeting took place in orbit above Earth. President Yoon was transported to the Federation, flagship in a small shuttle. She was a calm woman in her 50s, with short gray hair and intelligent eyes. She showed no fear as she walked into the massive alien ship. Admiral Sektoth greeted her in the ship's conference room. "Welcome, President Yoon. I am Admiral Sektoth of the Galactic Federation. We come in peace to welcome your species to the galactic community." "Thank you for coming," President Yoon replied politely. "Though I should mention that we already know about the galactic community." The Admiral paused. This was unexpected. "You do?" "Of course. We've been watching you for quite some time," Neth Prime 7 spoke up. "Our scans show your technology is primitive. How could you have been watching us?" President Yoon smiled. "Perhaps your scans aren't as accurate as you think." Admiral Sektoth felt a moment of unease, but pushed it aside. Primitive species often tried to seem more advanced than they were. "Regardless, we offer your species membership in the Galactic Federation. You would be junior members, of course, with limited rights until you prove yourselves worthy of full membership." "Junior members?" President Yoon asked. "Limited rights?" "Yes. Your technology and culture need significant development before you can be considered equals to established Federation species." President Yoon was quiet for a moment. "I see. And what if we decline this generous offer?" Admiral Sektoth laughed. "Decline? But why would you?" The Federation offers protection, trade, and access to advanced technology. No species has ever declined membership. Well, President Yoon said calmly, there's a first time for everything. The silence in the room was heavy. Admiral Sektoth's smile faded. You cannot be serious. I am completely serious. Humanity declines membership in the Galactic Federation. But that's impossible, Neth Prime 7 chimed. Every species wants to join the Federation. It's the pinnacle of galactic civilization. Second. Yoon stood up. Perhaps you overestimate your civilization's importance. Admiral Sektoth's eyes narrowed. You are making a mistake, President Yoon. The galaxy is dangerous for species that stand alone. We appreciate your concern, President Yoon said, but humanity has been taking care of itself for longer than you might imagine. As President Yoon prepared to leave, Admiral Sektoth called out. This decision is final? For now. Yes. Very well. But know this. When your species realizes its error, when you face the dangers of the galaxy alone, do not expect the Federation to welcome you with open arms. President Yoon turned back to him. Admiral, I think you misunderstand something. We're not afraid of the galaxy. The galaxy should be afraid of us. She left the conference room, leaving the Federation representatives staring after her in shock. Back. On the silent dawn, Ko watched President Yoon's shuttle return to Earth. The first phase was complete. He activated another communication system, this one sending messages to ships hidden throughout the Sol system. Phase 1 complete, he transmitted. Begin Phase 2 preparations. Across the solar system, ships that had been invisible for thousands of years began to power up their systems. On Jupiter's moons, massive industrial facilities started warming up machines that had been dormant since before the Federation existed. In the asteroid belt, mining operations that looked abandoned suddenly came to life. Admiral Sektoth remained in orbit around Earth for 3 days, hoping the humans would change their minds. They didn't. Finally, he ordered his fleet to leave. Mark, this system for monitoring, he told his officers. I want to know if these humans cause any trouble. As the Federation fleet departed, Ko smiled. They had no idea what they had just encountered. The humans of Earth looked primitive because they wanted to look primitive. The real human civilization was hidden among the stars, spread across dozens of worlds, with technology that would make the Federation's greatest achievements look like children's toys. The galaxy had found Earth at last, but Earth had been waiting for the galaxy much longer than anyone could imagine. The Ancient Ones were finally ready to reveal themselves. Commander Lee Sora stood in the control room of Mining Station Kepler 7, watching her screens light up with activity. For 3,000 years, she and her people had pretended to be a small mining operation on a dead world. Today, that pretense ended. All systems coming online, Commander, reported her deputy, Engineer Kim Tae-bin. The antimatter production facilities are at 30% power and rising. Lee nodded. Deep beneath the planet's surface, machines larger than cities hummed to life. What the galaxy saw as a simple mining colony was actually the largest antimatter production facility ever built. The energy output could power entire star systems. Any Federation ships in the area? Lee asked. Negative. The nearest patrol is 6 light years away. Good. Begin full power activation. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out on dozens of worlds. Captain Choi Yan-woo walked through the corridors of what appeared to be a research station orbiting Vega. But behind hidden walls lay the largest shipyard in the galaxy. Ships that could destroy planets sat in invisible docks, waiting for their time to come. On Proxima Centauri, Dr. Song Ji-hoo tended to what looked like agricultural experiments. The Federation had cataloged this world as a farming colony with basic life support. They never suspected that beneath the wheat fields lay laboratories where humans had perfected technologies that could remake matter itself. The activation signals reached every hidden colony within hours. For the first time in millennia, the human diaspora was awakening. Back at Kepler 7, Lee received a priority message from Earth. Kodeho's face appeared on her screen. Commander Lee, Phase 2 is authorized. Begin passive scanning of all Federation positions. Understood, Captain. Our deep space monitors show increased Federation activity in the inner systems. They're sending scout ships to investigate the outer colonies. Expected. Let them look. They'll find exactly what we want them to find. The Federation was indeed investigating. Admiral Sektoth had been troubled by Earth's rejection. In his experience, primitive species were always eager to join the Federation. Earth's confidence suggested they knew something he didn't. Send scout ships to survey all systems within 50 light-years of Earth, he ordered. Focus on any systems we haven't fully explored. Lieutenant Veltar Keknoth, the Admiral's nephew, volunteered to lead one of the scout missions. Uncle, let me take the Swift Blade to the Kepler system. Our records show minimal activity there, but we should verify. Approved. But be careful. Nephew, something about these humans bothers me. The Swift Blade was a fast Federation cruiser with advanced sensors. Lieutenant Keknoth was proud of his ship and crew. They had explored dozens of systems and never found anything they couldn't handle. As they approached Kepler 442b, their sensors detected exactly what the Federation databases said they would find: a small mining colony with basic industrial equipment. A few thousand humans working metal extraction operations. Standard mining setup, reported the ship's scanner operator. Low-level industrial activity, basic life support systems. Nothing unusual. Lieutenant Keknoth frowned. Run a deep scan. I want to know everything about this place. The deep scan revealed more detail, but nothing alarming. Underground tunnels for mining, power generators, living quarters, all perfectly normal for a frontier colony. What the Federation scanners couldn't detect were the massive antimatter reactors hidden behind layers of shielding that shouldn't have existed. The tunnels they saw were real, but they were only the uppermost level of a facility that went down hundreds of kilometers. Sir, the scanner operator said suddenly, I'm getting some unusual energy readings. What kind of readings? I'm not sure. It's like there's a lot more power being generated than there should be. Lieutenant Keknoth studied the data. Could be a malfunction in their equipment. These frontier colonies often have jury-rigged systems. Below the surface, Lee watched the Federation ship through sensors they couldn't detect. They're running deep scans, Kim reported. Let them. The masking systems are holding. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. The Swift Blade completed its survey and prepared to leave. But as they moved away from the planet, their sensors detected something impossible. For just a moment, their instruments registered a massive energy signature from the planet's core. Then it was gone. Did you see that? The scanner operator asked. See what? The energy reading just spiked to impossible levels, but it's gone now. Lieutenant Keknoth looked at the data. The spike had lasted less than a second, but the numbers were absurd. No mining colony could generate that much power. Run the scan again. They scanned the planet 3 more times, but found nothing unusual. Finally, Lieutenant Keknoth decided to investigate personally. Prepare a shuttle. I'm going down to take a look. Lee watched the shuttle descend toward their landing pad. Looks like we have visitors. Should we activate defenses? Kim asked. No, we stick to the plan. They see a mining colony, nothing more. Lieutenant Keknoth landed with a small team of Federation soldiers. Lee met them at the landing pad dressed in simple work clothes and carrying a mining tool. Welcome to Kepler 7, she said with a smile. We don't get many visitors out here. Lieutenant studied her carefully. She looked like exactly what she claimed to be, a frontier miner. Rough clothes, calloused hands, the weathered look of someone who spent their life working hard in difficult conditions. I'm Lieutenant Keknoth of the Galactic Federation. We're conducting routine surveys of this sector. Federation? Wow. We heard there were aliens out there, but we've never seen any. This is exciting." The lieutenant relaxed slightly. This woman seemed genuinely surprised and pleased to meet them. "May we tour your facilities?" "Of course. Though I have to warn you, it's pretty boring. Just mining and processing, nothing fancy." Lee led them through the surface facilities. Everything looked exactly as it should. Workers extracting metals, basic processing equipment, simple living quarters. The Federation team found nothing suspicious. What they didn't see were the massive elevators hidden behind false walls, leading down to levels where humans worked with technologies beyond Federation understanding. They didn't detect the antimatter, storage tanks that could power 1,000 worlds, or the weapons systems that could vaporize their ship without leaving a trace. "Impressive operation," Lieutenant Keknoth said as they completed the tour. "How long have you been here?" "About 50 years, Lee lied smoothly. "My grandfather started this place. It's home." As the Federation team prepared to leave, the lieutenant's scanner beeped again. Another energy spike, massive and brief. "Commander," he said to Lee, "do you have any idea what might cause unusual energy readings?" Lee looked puzzled. "Energy readings? I don't know anything about that. We just dig metal out of the ground." The lieutenant stared at his scanner, then at Lee. Nothing about her seemed deceptive, but his instruments didn't lie. "Thank you for your cooperation," he said finally. As the Federation shuttle lifted off, Lee smiled and waved goodbye. The moment they were out of sight, she activated a secure communicator. "Co, this is Lee. The Federation just paid us a visit. They're starting to notice the energy signatures." "Expected," Co replied. "Are they suspicious?" "The officer in charge is. He knows something's not right, but he can't figure out what." "Good. Let them wonder. Phase 3 begins tomorrow." That night, Lieutenant Keknoth filed his report with Admiral Sektoth. "Uncle, something strange is happening at that mining colony. My instruments detected massive energy spikes, but I couldn't find the source." Admiral Sektoth studied the report. "Your recommendation?" "I think we should investigate further. The humans down there seemed innocent enough, but the energy readings don't make sense. The Admiral made a decision that would change everything. Send a full survey fleet to that system. I want to know what's really going on there." Across the galaxy, other Federation scouts were reporting similar anomalies. Systems that should have been empty showed strange activity. Colonies that seemed primitive displayed impossible energy signatures. The Federation was starting to realize that something was very wrong with their understanding of human civilization. But they had no idea how wrong they were, or what was about to happen next. Admiral Baek Chang-min opened his eyes for the first time in 2,000 years. The stasis chamber hissed open, releasing him into a world that had changed beyond recognition. But his mission remained the same. "Welcome back, Admiral," said Captain Kodeho, standing beside the chamber. "It's time." Beck sat up slowly, his ancient body adjusting to consciousness. He had been the supreme commander of humanity's hidden fleet when he entered stasis. Now he was needed again. "How long?" Beck asked. 2,047 years, sir. The Federation has found us." Beck nodded. He had expected this day would come. Status report. All colonies are online and ready. The Federation is investigating anomalies across our territories. They're starting to ask questions we can't answer with simple lies. On the Federation capital world of Veltar Prime, an emergency council meeting was in session. Admiral Sektoth stood before the greatest leaders of galactic civilization, sharing reports that made no sense. "The energy readings are impossible," he said, projecting holographic data. "We're detecting power generation levels that exceed our most advanced facilities coming from primitive mining colonies." High Counselor Neth Prime 1, the leader of the crystalline Neth Collective, studied the data with concern. "Could these readings be natural phenomena?" "No, Counselor. The patterns are clearly artificial." Someone is generating this energy, but hiding it extremely well. Chancellor Veltar Mokhta, the ruler of the Reptilian Empire, leaned forward. Admiral, are you suggesting these humans have technology beyond our understanding? I don't know what I'm suggesting, Chancellor, but something is very wrong. Dr. Shin Nari sat in her laboratory on Earth, preparing for the most important presentation of her life. As humanity's leading expert on galactic archaeology, she had spent decades studying the ancient ruins found throughout the galaxy. Today, she would reveal the truth about those ruins. Her assistant, Dr. Lim Dong-wook, helped her organize the data. Are you sure about this, Dr. Shin? Once we reveal this information, there's no going back. The time for hiding is over, Dong-wook. The galaxy needs to know the truth. The Federation Council reconvened 3 days later to hear testimony from Dr. Shin. She appeared via hologram from Earth, her presentation ready to change everything. Honored counselors, she began, I am Dr. Shin Nari, and I study the ancient ruins found throughout our galaxy. Chancellor Mokhta interrupted. We are aware of these ruins. They are artifacts from a vanished civilization that existed before the Federation. That's correct, Chancellor. And I know who built them. The council chamber fell silent. For 5,000 years, the identity of the ancient builders had been one of the galaxy's greatest mysteries. The beings who built these ruins, Dr. Shin, continued, were human. The silence stretched longer. Then Chancellor Mokhta laughed. That's impossible. Humans are a primitive species we discovered 3 days ago. Dr. Shin activated her holographic display. The evidence is overwhelming. The mathematical principles underlying the ruins match human mathematical concepts. The architectural styles follow human aesthetic preferences. Most importantly, we found human DNA in the organic components. High Counselor Prime 1 spoke carefully. Dr. Shin, are you claiming that humans built a galactic civilization before the Federation existed? Not just before the Federation existed, Counselor. Humans built the foundation that the Federation stands on. Every piece of advanced technology you use was originally developed by reverse engineering human artifacts. Admiral Sektoth stood up angrily. This is absurd. Human technology is centuries behind ours. Is it? Dr. Shin asked calmly. Or is that just what we want you to think? On his flagship orbiting Vega, Admiral Bayek received reports from across the galaxy. His hidden fleet was awakening after millennia of slumber. Ships that could reshape reality were powering up their impossible engines. Sir, reported Captain Choi Yeon-woo, all vessels are operational. The fleet stands ready. Excellent. Begin Phase 3. Across dozens of star systems, human ships uncloaked simultaneously. The Federation's long-range sensors suddenly detected vessels where empty space had been moments before, ships of impossible design using technologies that shouldn't exist. On Kepler 442b, Commander Lee So-ra received the activation order. Kim, bring the facility to full power. All systems? All systems. Deep beneath the planet's surface, antimatter reactors that could power entire sectors roared to full capacity. The energy output was so massive that Federation ships' 3 systems away detected it. Lieutenant Keknoth, still investigating the Kepler system, watched his instruments go insane. What's happening? Sir, the energy readings from the planet just increased by a factor of 10,000. That's impossible. Sir, we're detecting massive structures beneath the surface. They're huge, sir, bigger than anything we've ever seen. On I, the planet below, Lee smiled as her true facility revealed itself. Walls that had seemed like simple rock face slid away, revealing openings large enough for battleships. The small mining colony was actually the entrance to an industrial complex that stretched across continents. All units, this is Commander Lee. The masquerade is over. Show them who we really are. Across the galaxy, similar revelations occurred, simultaneously. Research stations revealed themselves as massive shipyards. Agricultural colonies showed their true nature as weapons development facilities. Empty systems suddenly contained cities floating in space. In the Federation Council chamber, alarms began sounding. Admiral Sektoth received urgent reports from across Federation space. Admiral, his communications officer reported, "We're receiving simultaneous alerts from every sector. Ships appearing out of nowhere, massive energy signatures, unknown facilities, revealing themselves." Dr. Shin continued her presentation calmly as chaos erupted around her. The Federation has spent 5,000 years studying human artifacts and calling them ancient alien technology. Your entire civilization is built on human foundations. Chancellor Mokhta stared at the data streaming across his screens. Federation? Space was filled with human ships and facilities that had appeared from nowhere. How is this possible? Because we've been here all along, Dr. Shin said, watching you, guiding you, waiting for you to grow up. High Counselor Prime 1 spoke in a voice filled with awe. You've been watching us? For 5,000 years. Every time you discovered a new technology, we had already developed it millennia ago. Every time you found ancient ruins, you were finding our old settlements. We are the ancient ones you've been looking for. Admiral Bayek's flagship, the Eternal Dawn, materialized in the heart of Federation space. It was a ship beyond comprehension, larger than most space stations and powered by technologies that treated the laws of physics as suggestions. "This is Admiral Bayek Changmin of the Human Stellar Commonwealth," he broadcast on all Federation frequencies. "We need to talk." The message reached every ship, every planet, every space station in Federation territory. For the first time in galactic history, the Federation faced beings who were clearly their superiors. Chancellor Mokhta found his voice. "Admiral Bayek, what do you want?" "What we've always wanted, Chancellor. Peace, cooperation, a galaxy where all species can thrive together." "Then why reveal yourselves now? Why end the deception?" Admiral Bayek's image appeared on screens throughout Federation space. He was an elderly human with kind eyes and a patient smile. "Because the galaxy is growing up, Chancellor. It's time for the children to meet their parents." On Earth, President Yoon watched the galaxy's reaction to humanity's revelation. The primitive world the Federation had dismissed 3 days ago was actually the capital of the most advanced civilization in galactic history. "Dr. Lim," she said to her new ambassador, "prepare for Phase 4. It's time to rebuild the galaxy properly." The Federation's understanding of reality had just collapsed completely. Everything they thought they knew about galactic history, about technology, about their place in the universe, was wrong. They weren't the advanced civilization they believed themselves to be. They were the students, and humanity had always been the teachers. Captain Ryu Sung-ho stood on the bridge of the generation ship New Genesis as it approached an unnamed star system. The year was 2847 BCE, and humanity was spreading across the galaxy for the first time. "Dr. An, we've found another suitable system," he called to his science officer. Dr. An Yu-jin looked up from her research station. "Perfect. This will be Colony Site 127. I'll prepare the seeding protocols." This was how it had all begun. 5,000 years ago. Humanity had developed faster than light travel and immediately began exploring the galaxy. What they found was a vast, empty space with no intelligent life, so they decided to fill it. "Dr. An," Captain Ryu asked, "are you certain about this protocol? Hiding our colonies seems like a waste of our advantages." Dr. An smiled. "Sung-ho, we're not just planting colonies. We're planting seeds for the future. Each settlement will develop in isolation, becoming something unique. When other species finally evolve to join us among the stars, they'll find a galaxy full of diversity." In the present day, Elder No Kyung-suk sat in her chambers on the hidden world of Sanctuary. At 3,000 years old, she was one of the few humans who remembered the early days of galactic colonization. Her life had been extended through technologies the Federation couldn't even imagine. Elder No, her assistant said. Admiral Bayek is requesting your counsel. Send him in. Admiral Bayek entered the chamber and bowed respectfully. Elder, the Federation is struggling to accept our revelation. Some species are calling for war. Elder No sighed. I was afraid of this. Not all children accept their parents. Guidance gracefully. What should we do? What we've always done, Admiral. Show them that we're here to help, not to conquer. Back in the Federation Council chamber, chaos reigned. Representatives from hundreds of species argued loudly about humanity's revelation. Some demanded immediate action against the humans, while others called for negotiation. Chancellor Mokta slammed his clawed hand on the table. Order! We will have order! The chamber fell silent. Chancellor Mokta continued, We need to understand exactly what we're dealing with. Dr. Shin, please continue your presentation. Dr. Shin activated another holographic display. 5,000 years ago, humanity launched what we called the Great Seeding. Hundreds of generation ships spread across the galaxy, establishing colonies on suitable worlds. But why hide? Asked High Counselor Prime 1. If you were so advanced, why not openly rule the galaxy? Because ruling wasn't the goal. Growing was the goal. Each human colony was given a specific focus. Some developed military technologies, others focused on science, others on industry. Over thousands of years, each settlement became incredibly specialized. Admiral Sektoth studied the data streams still coming in from Federation sensors. The energy signatures we're detecting? Each colony has different technology? Exactly. The mining world you investigated has the galaxy's most advanced antimatter production. The agricultural world near Tau Ceti has developed matter manipulation beyond your understanding. The research station at Vega builds ships that can exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. President Park Soo-young sat in her office on Earth, coordinating humanity's response to the galactic revelation. Reports came in from every human settlement as they revealed their true capabilities. Madam President, her aide reported, all colonies are online. The Federation is requesting formal negotiations. Good. Send Ambassador Lim to the Federation capital and activate the Heritage Protocol. The Heritage Protocol was humanity's final revelation. Every ancient alien artifact the Federation had ever found would simultaneously activate, revealing their true human origin. On Veltar Prime, the Federation's most sacred site began to glow. The Crystal of Eternal Wisdom, which had guided Federation policy for 3,000 years, suddenly projected a holographic message. Greetings, descendants, said the image of an ancient human woman. If you are seeing this message, it means humanity has revealed itself to you. We left this crystal here as a gift for whatever species would eventually claim this world. The wisdom you have found within it is the accumulated knowledge of human philosophers and scientists. We hope it has served you well. Similar activations occurred across Federation space. The great archives on Nethvar Prime revealed themselves to be a human library. The sacred engines that powered the Federation's fastest ships were originally human designs. Even the Federation's constitution was based on human legal principles found in ancient ruins. High Counselor Prime 1 watched the Crystal of Eternal Wisdom continue its message. We have guided your species' development through these artifacts, hoping to nurture your growth without controlling it. You have exceeded our greatest expectations. The Counselor's crystalline body dimmed with shock. Our entire civilization. It's all built on human foundations. On his flagship, Admiral Bayek received reports from across the galaxy. Not all species were accepting humanity's revelation peacefully. The Draknari Empire had mobilized their war fleet, convinced that humanity represented an existential threat. Sir, Captain Choi reported, Draknari forces are massing at the border. They're calling for a preemptive strike against human colonies. Understood. Activate the defensive protocols. The defensive protocols were another legacy of humanity's long planning. For 5,000 years, human engineers had been quietly installing safeguards throughout the galaxy. Every major trade route, every strategic system, every important resource had hidden human monitoring stations. Emperor Draknari Voss commanded the most feared military force in Federation space. His ships were fast, his warriors were fierce, and his empire had never known defeat. He would not bow to these ancient humans no matter what technologies they possessed. All fleets, prepare for war, he ordered. We will not be ruled by these archaeological artifacts come to life. The Draknari fleet was impressive. 10,000 ships, each one a masterpiece of military engineering. They moved toward human space, with the confidence of predators who had never met their equals. They had no idea what they were about to encounter. General Huang Su-jin commanded humanity's defensive forces from her base on the fortress world of Aegis. She watched the Draknari fleet approach through sensors they couldn't detect. General, her aide reported, the Draknari will reach the outer colonies in 6 hours. Understood. Begin Operation Peaceful Lessons. On the colony world of New Harmony, civilian families went about their daily lives as the Draknari fleet approached. To outside observers, the planet looked defenseless. The Federation had cataloged it as a simple farming community with basic defenses. The reality was very different. New Harmony was protected by a planetary defense grid that could stop a supernova. The farming equipment in the fields could transform into weapons that bent space-time. Even the children playing in the parks had access to technologies beyond Federation understanding. But General Huang didn't want to hurt the Draknari. She wanted to teach them. As the Draknari fleet approached New Harmony, their sensors detected nothing unusual. A few orbital platforms, some civilian ships, basic planetary shields. It looked like easy prey. Emperor Voss himself led the assault. Begin bombardment of military targets. Show these humans the price of deception. His flagship fired its most powerful weapons at the planet below. Beams of energy that could crack moons struck New Harmony's shields and simply disappeared. What happened? Emperor Voss demanded. Sir, our weapons had no effect. It's like they never hit anything. On New Harmony, a 6-year-old girl named Kim Soo-jin was playing in her backyard when the Draknari attack began. She looked up at the sky and saw the pretty lights of the enemy weapons. Mommy, she called. The sky is sparkling. Her mother, Dr. Kim Hyo-jin, smiled. Yes, dear. Some visitors are trying to say hello, but they're not being very polite. Soo-jin giggled. Should we say hello back? I think we should. Dr. Kim activated a simple device that looked like a garden tool. Above them, the Draknari fleet suddenly found themselves surrounded by a field of energy that made their ships completely inert. They could see, they could communicate, but they couldn't move or fire their weapons. Emperor Voss stared at his control panels in horror. All systems non-responsive. We're completely helpless. A voice spoke on his communication system. It was General Huang, speaking from her base light years away. Emperor Voss, this is General Huang Su-jin of the Human Defense Force. Your attack on our civilian population has been neutralized. Your ships and crews are unharmed, but you are now our guests. Impossible. No technology can disable an entire fleet instantly. Emperor, you've spent your entire life studying what you thought was the pinnacle of military technology. But you've been playing with toys while we've been building real weapons. The Draknari fleet hung motionless in space, completely at humanity's mercy. But instead of destroying them, General Huang did something no Draknari could have imagined. Emperor, we're going to release your ships now. This demonstration was not a threat, but a lesson. Humanity has the power to end any war before it begins, but we choose not to use that power. We hope you'll remember this when you make your next decision. The energy field released the Draknari ships. They were free to leave, completely unharmed. Emperor Voss sat in his command chair staring at the tactical displays. Fleet Admiral O.J. Sung stood on the bridge of the Harmony's End, watching as the largest space battle in galactic history began to unfold. Despite humanity's peaceful intentions, not all species had accepted the revelation gracefully. The base Veltar Empire, proud and ancient in their own right, had declared war on humanity rather than accept their secondary status. "Admiral," reported Captain Seo Hyun-woo from the battleship Star's Edge, "Veltar forces are approaching the outer markers, 2,000 ships, including their Emperor-class dreadnoughts." "Understood, Captain. All units remember the rules of Bio. Engagement! Disable, don't destroy, these are still our galactic neighbors." The Veltar war fleet was commanded by Admiral Sektoth himself, who had refused to accept that his lifetime of military experience meant nothing against human technology. His flagship, the Scaled Fury, led a formation of the Federation's most powerful warships. "All units, this is Admiral Sektoth," he broadcast to his fleet. "Today we fight for the honor of every non-human species in the galaxy. We will not bow to these ancient humans, no matter what tricks they possess." His nephew, Lieutenant Keknoth, served as his tactical officer. "Uncle, our sensors are detecting human ships ahead, but the readings are strange." "Strange how?" "They appear to be phasing in and out of normal space. Sometimes our sensors show massive ships, sometimes nothing at all." Admiral Sektoth studied the tactical display. The human fleet seemed small compared to his force, maybe 200 ships, but something about them felt wrong. Colonel Bang In-suk led humanity's special operations forces from her stealth ship, Silent Thunder. Her mission was to infiltrate Veltar command networks and disable their coordination systems without causing permanent damage. "Team leaders, remember that every piece of Veltar technology has human-designed components. We built the back doors into their systems 5,000 years ago. This should be simple." Her teams deployed across the battlefield in ships that existed partially outside normal space-time. To Veltar sensors, they were invisible. To human technology, they were obvious. As the fleets closed distance, Admiral Sektoth prepared to demonstrate the military might of the Veltar Empire. "All ships, prepare primary weapons. Target the largest human vessels." The Veltar fleet opened fire with weapons that could vaporize asteroids. Beams of concentrated energy and swarms of guided missiles streaked toward the human ships. Captain Seo watched the incoming fire with calm interest. "Defensive systems active. Configure for minimum power demonstration." The human ship, Star's Edge, was struck by enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The weapons simply passed through it without effect, as if the ship existed in a slightly different dimension. "What happened?" Lieutenant Keknoth demanded. "Direct hits, no damage." "I don't know," Admiral Sektoth replied, but his voice had lost its confidence. Meanwhile, Colonel Bang's teams had infiltrated every major Veltar ship. Using access codes built into the original system architecture, they began systematically disabling weapons, shields, and propulsion systems. "This is too easy," reported one of her team leaders. "It's like they handed us the keys to their ships." "They did," Bang replied. 5,000 years ago, when we designed the base technology their systems are built on. Across the Veltar fleet, ships began experiencing mysterious malfunctions. Weapons wouldn't fire, engines wouldn't respond, communication systems went dead. Within minutes, Admiral Sektoth's mighty war fleet was floating helplessly in space. But Admiral O wasn't finished with his demonstration. "Dr. Kang, begin stellar engineering operations." Dr. Kang Hyo-jin operated from humanity's most advanced research vessel, the Reality's Forge. Her specialty was large-scale space manipulation, using technologies that treated the fabric of space-time like construction material. "Initiating gravitational field manipulation," she reported, "beginning stellar mass redistribution." Near the edge of the star system, a small rocky planet suddenly began moving. Not orbiting, not drifting, but deliberately relocating to a new position. The gravitational forces required to move a planet should have torn it apart, but human technology compensated perfectly. Admiral Sektoth watched his instruments in disbelief. They're moving a planet. They're actually moving a planet. "Uncle," Lieutenant Keknoth whispered, "what kind of beings are we fighting?" The demonstration continued. Dr. Kang's teams began rearranging the outer system, moving asteroids and small moons into new configurations. They weren't damaging anything, just showing that humanity could reorganize entire star systems as easily as rearranging furniture. On his flagship, Admiral O opened a communication channel to the disabled Veltar fleet. "Admiral Sektoth, this is Admiral O.J. Sung. Your fleet is now completely under our control. Your weapons won't fire, your engines won't start, and your communication systems work only because we allow them to." Admiral Sektoth found his voice. "What do you want?" "The same thing we've always wanted, Admiral. Peace, cooperation, a galaxy where all species can thrive." "Then why this demonstration of power?" "Because some lessons can only be learned through experience. You needed to understand that war with humanity isn't just impossible. It's pointless." Captain Seo's ship, the Star's Edge, moved closer to Admiral Sektoth's flagship. As it approached, the Veltar could see its true size. What had appeared to be a normal warship was actually larger than their biggest space stations. "Admiral," Lieutenant Keknoth reported, "that ship is 12 kilometers long. Our sensors initially read it as 300 meters. "How is that possible?" Captain SEO answered over the communication link. "Dimensional compression technology, Admiral. We exist in normal space, but we also exist in several other dimensions simultaneously. Your sensors can only see a small portion of our actual size. The Star's Edge demonstrated by briefly existing fully in normal space. The ship expanded to its true dimensions, dwarfing everything else in the system. Then it compressed back to its apparent size." Admiral Sektoth realized that everything he thought he knew about warfare was obsolete. "Admiral O, what happens now?" "Now? We repair your ships, restore your systems, and send you home. But first, we want to show you something." Dr. Kang activated another system. Around the battlefield, space itself began to shimmer. Suddenly, the Veltar fleet could see what had been hidden from them. Thousands of human ships materialized, surrounding the Veltar formation completely. Ships of sizes and configurations that shouldn't be possible, using technologies that treated physics as a mild suggestion rather than law. "This is a small portion of humanity's defensive fleet," Admiral O explained. "We have similar forces protecting every human world, every human trade route, every human citizen. But we also have fleets protecting every Federation world, every Federation trade route, every Federation citizen." "You're protecting us?" Admiral Sektoth asked. "We've been protecting you for 5,000 years, Admiral. Every time a rogue asteroid threatened a populated world, we diverted it. Every time a cosmic disaster approached inhabited systems, we prevented it. Every time hostile forces from outside the galaxy tried to invade, we stopped them before you ever knew they existed." The revelation hit Admiral Sektoth like a physical blow. "The Void Hunters that attacked our outer colonies 20 years ago, we destroyed their main fleet before it could reach Federation space. The ships that got through were intentionally allowed to pass so your species could gain experience fighting real threats." Lieutenant Keknoth stared at the tactical displays, showing the massive human fleet. "Uncle, we never had a chance, did we?" "No, nephew. We never did." Admiral O continued. "Admiral, we're going to restore your fleet to full operational status. But before you leave, I want you to understand something. This demonstration wasn't about showing our superiority. It was about showing our responsibility." "Responsibility?" "The responsibility that comes with power. We could have ruled the galaxy openly for 5,000 years. Instead, we chose to guide it secretly, letting each species develop according to their own nature. We've revealed ourselves now because the galaxy is finally mature enough to understand the truth. Colonel Bang's teams began restoring the Veltar ship's systems. Within hours, the disabled fleet was fully operational again. Your ships are now better than they were before, Colonel Bang reported. We've upgraded your systems using human technology. Consider it a gift. Admiral Sektoth found that his ship's capabilities had increased dramatically. His weapons were more powerful, his shields stronger, his engines faster. The humans had made his fleet more advanced in a few hours than the Veltar Empire had managed in centuries. Why? He asked. Because you're our neighbors, Admiral. We want our neighbors to be strong and secure. As the Veltar fleet prepared to depart, Admiral O made one final communication. Admiral, when you report to your government, please tell them this. Humanity doesn't want subjects or servants. We want partners. The galaxy is big enough for all of us to thrive together. Admiral Sektoth looked around at his upgraded fleet, at the massive human ships that could have destroyed them all without effort, at the rearranged star system that proved humanity could reshape reality itself. Admiral, oh, what if we had refused to listen? What if we had continued fighting? Admiral O was quiet for a moment. Empress Jeon-Echa stood before the assembled representatives of every species in the galaxy. The great hall on the neutral world of Haven had been built specifically for this moment, when humanity would finally take its place as the acknowledged leaders of galactic civilization. My fellow beings, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. Today we begin a new chapter in galactic history, not as conquerors and conquered, but as family finally reunited. The audience was unlike anything ever seen before. Reptilian Veltar sat beside crystalline Neth, while dozens of other species filled the remaining seats. At the front, Admiral Sektoth and High Counselor Prime 1 represented the former Federation leadership. Ambassador Moon Jun-Ki, humanity's chief diplomat, had spent months preparing for this moment. The negotiations had been complex, requiring him to balance human authority with the dignity of other species. The old Federation is dissolved, Empress John announced. In its place, we establish the Galactic Commonwealth, where every species has a voice, and humanity provides guidance. Chancellor Mokta, the former Veltar leader, stood to speak. Your Imperial Majesty, what guarantee do we have that humanity will not become the tyrants that other species fear? Empress Jeon smiled. Chancellor, we've had the power to become tyrants for 5,000 years. If that was our goal, we would have achieved it long ago. High Counselor Prime 1's crystalline form chimed with harmonic tones. Your Majesty, the Neth Collective wishes to understand humanity's long-term intentions for the galaxy. Our intentions are the same as they've always been, Counselor. To nurture growth, encourage peace, and explore the unknown together. Admiral Young Won-ho stepped forward. As coordinator of the new Galactic Defense Fleet, he had been working with representatives from every species to integrate their forces. With human technology, the Commonwealth Defense Force will be unlike anything the galaxy has seen, he announced. Ships from every species, upgraded with human technology, working together to protect all our worlds. The integration hadn't been simple. Many species struggled to understand technology so advanced it seemed like magic. But human engineers worked patiently with each group, teaching them to operate systems that were centuries beyond their previous capabilities. Captain Seo Hyun-woo had been assigned to work with Veltar engineers. The key, he explained to Admiral Sektoth, is not to think of the ship as separate from yourself. Our neural interface technology makes the ship an extension of your body. Admiral Sektoth was still adjusting to his new reality. His flagship now possessed capabilities that made it more powerful than his entire former fleet. Captain Seo, why are you sharing this technology with us? We were your enemies just months ago. Admiral, we were never enemies. We were family members who had temporarily forgotten how to talk to each other. Dr. Im Hai-young, architect of the IRI Commonwealth Constitution, presented the new governmental structure to the Assembly. The Commonwealth will be organized around the principle of guided democracy. Each species governs itself according to its own nature, while humanity provides coordination and support. The structure was elegant in its simplicity. Local matters remained local, regional issues were handled by regional councils, and galactic concerns were addressed by the Commonwealth Senate, with humanity holding permanent advisory positions. Dr. Im asked a representative from the Gaseous Nebula Collective, "What happens if a species disagrees with human guidance?" "The same thing that happened when the Veltar disagreed with us," Dr. Im replied. "We talk, we negotiate, and we find a solution that works for everyone. Force is our last option, not our first." On Earth, President Yoon watched the proceedings with satisfaction. The planet that the Federation had dismissed as primitive was now acknowledged as the capital of galactic civilization. "Madam President," her aide reported, "the vote is unanimous. The Commonwealth has been formally established." President Yoon nodded. "Good. Begin Phase 5. Phase 5 was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, the sharing of their most advanced technologies. For the first time in 5,000 years, humans would openly teach other species what they had learned. The announcement came from Empress John herself. The Commonwealth will establish research centers on 100 worlds, where human scientists will work alongside our galactic neighbors to explore new frontiers of knowledge. The promise was staggering. Technologies that could extend life indefinitely, travel between galaxies, even manipulate time itself, would be gradually shared with species ready to use them responsibly. Dr. Song Ji-hoo had been chosen to lead the Biological Sciences Division. "We'll start with basic life extension and medical technologies," she explained to the Assembly. "Once species have mastered these concepts, we'll move on to more advanced applications." Commander Lee So-ra would oversee energy and manufacturing technologies. Each species will receive technology appropriate to their development level and needs. We won't overwhelm anyone with concepts they're not ready for. The plan was ambitious but carefully structured. Humanity had learned patience over 5 millennia, and they would not rush their students now. Elder No Kyung-suk, now serving as the Commonwealth's advisor for long-term planning, addressed the deeper implications. "We are not just sharing technology," she told the Assembly. "We are sharing responsibility for the galaxy's future." Ambassador Moon presented the Commonwealth's first major initiative, the Great Exploration Project. Beyond our galaxy lie infinite possibilities, strange new worlds, unknown forms of life, mysteries we can't even imagine. Together, we will explore them all. The project would use human gravitational manipulation technology to accelerate entire fleets to intergalactic speeds. For the first time, the species of the galaxy would venture beyond their cosmic neighborhood. Admiral Bayek, speaking from his flagship in deep space, outlined the scope of the project. "We've identified 17 nearby galaxies suitable for exploration. Each expedition will include representatives from every Commonwealth species." The prospect was breathtaking. Species that had struggled to travel between star systems would soon journey to entirely different galaxies. But the most significant change was cultural. For 5,000 years, the galaxy had been shaped by competition between species, each trying to prove their superiority. The Commonwealth introduced a new concept: cooperation as strength. Captain Ko Dae-ho, now serving as humanity's cultural liaison, explained the shift to gathered representatives. "Humans succeeded not because we were the strongest or the smartest, but because we learned to work together across impossible distances and time spans. Now we teach the galaxy to do the same." The results were immediate and dramatic. Scientific discoveries that had taken centuries now happened in years. Engineering. Projects that had seemed impossible became routine. Art and culture flourished as different species shared their unique perspectives. The Veltar Empire transformed from a military hierarchy into a center for strategic planning and exploration. The Neth Collective became the galaxy's computational center, their crystalline minds enhanced by human quantum technologies. Even the smallest species found their place. The insectoid hive minds became experts in biotechnology, while the energy-based cloud dancers mastered stellar engineering. Every species has something unique to contribute, Empress Geon observed during the first Commonwealth anniversary celebration. Our job is simply to help everyone discover what that contribution is. As the second year of the Commonwealth began, the first intergalactic expedition prepared to depart. The fleet was a symbol of everything the galaxy had become. Ships from dozens of species, using technologies that blended human innovation with each species' unique capabilities. Admiral Young Won-ho commanded the expedition from the flagship Eternal Unity. All ships report ready for departure. The fleet consisted of 300 vessels carrying representatives from every Commonwealth species. They would explore the Andromeda Galaxy, establishing humanity's first extragalactic colony. Begin. Jump sequence, Admiral Jung ordered. The ships vanished from normal space, traveling faster than light toward destinations unimaginable just years before. On Earth, Empress Geon watched the departure through quantum sensors that let her observe events across intergalactic distances. Dr. Im, how long until the next phase? Phase 6 will begin in 10 years, Your Majesty. By then, we should have established contact with any intelligent species in nearby galaxies. Phase 6 would be humanity's greatest challenge yet. Teaching entire galaxies to work together, creating a cooperative civilization spanning multiple cosmic neighborhoods. But they had time. Humans had learned patience, and they had taught the galaxy to be patient as well. As the first intergalactic expedition disappeared into the void between galaxies, Elder No smiled from her chambers on Sanctuary. The great work that had begun 5,000 years ago with the first-generation ships was finally approaching its true scope. Humanity had never sought to rule the galaxy. They had sought to fill it with life, intelligence, and cooperation. Now, as they prepared to do the same for neighboring galaxies, the ancient dream was becoming reality. The children had grown up, and together they would make the universe itself their home. In the end, the galaxy hadn't seen humanity coming because humanity had always been there.